TNA. It is time for TNA. Now, just in case someone thinks I really like this show, honestly, you're right. It wasn't bad. But I'm not going to say it was great. There was a decision made here that was dumb. Dumb. And if you don't agree, fine. I can't make you decide to do anything other than what you want to do. But there was a decision made here that was practically stupid. And others made perfect sense because of the situations they're in. Let's start with the 6-man tag. That should not exist. It shouldn't exist. I'm saying it right now. I don't care if anybody likes seeing Kushida with the Rascals. I don't care if they like to see the No Quarter Catch crew. Does not make a difference. You've seen Tevian Heights or Bourne or even Charlie Dempsey. I like Charlie Dempsey. He has a style similar to his father. It don't make no difference. That first match was stupid. Because what happened afterward? Because taking away from the match in the 2300 arena was not bad. It's not the quality. And I want to make it clear, it's not the quality. It is what is coming in 2 days. Because what did we get? We get a segment in the back after Kushida and them lost to the No Quarter Catch crew. Fine. You wanted to go there? You did. But then you have the Rascal segments that they haven't done in 4 years. 4. And Wesley is there. And what do we get? Wentz doesn't want to call him Wes. He wants to call him Desmond Xavier. Because that's what he was. But here's the thing. You do the recording over in NXT. Yeah, let's make it clear. I'm pulling back the veil, baby. You have him do this over in NXT's while they're recording. Because they want to do it here. Fine. But why have the match here when now you're going to have Wesley do a match on Slammiversary? The only thing you had to do was let Tavion Heights have a match. Or Bourne have a match. Or even Dempsey talk. Which actually would help him because he doesn't talk all the time over in NXT. And he does need more work at it. But no, you have a match that is now going to be an exact copy of the match that you're going to have at Slammiversary. The only difference is Kushida's taken out and Wesley's going to be added. I said that Wesley would show up on the show and he's going to. I was right. But now you're doing a double match? It's stupid. I don't care what the fuck you say. It was stupid. I'm angry at this. I'm sorry. You're happy. I know people are going to say, oh, it was an awesome match. Fuck that. Fuck it. It's wrong. Why are you doing a double match? You could have had one of these guys wrestle, and that would have been it. That would have been better. But you just did a match that's now going to be a carbon copy of the other one. You're just taking Kushida out and putting Wes in. That's bullshit. That's not what TNA deserves. Not talking about Wesley. I'm not talking about Wentz. I'm not talking about Trey Miguel. I'm not talking about Dempsey, Tavion Heights, or Bourne. They're going to be fine. This is about TNA and what it looks like. And that looks like it's bullshit. Now let's move on. Now, what did we get from Xia Brookside versus Alicia Edwards? A setup for Spitfire before their match on Slammiversary. And that's supposed to be the kickoff show. They're not getting a shot on the main card. They already made it very clear that the tag match for the knockouts is going to be on the kickoff. Nothing wrong with it. They really haven't been sponsoring it very well. I would have rather seen Alicia Edwards win the Digital Media Championship than anything else, but they wanted to make sure that she had something. You know, AJ Francis has the title, and we still don't know, and they should make the International Heavyweight Championship a title for TNA. So they'll have the World title, the X Division title, the Digital Media Championship, and the International Heavyweight Championship. They'll have 4 titles that would really go well for this show. You'll be able to have more people on it, but we don't know if they're actually legitimately going to make it like that. Because guess what? They haven't announced it. Not until either AJ retains or PCO gets the title he's never had a chance to hold. I don't care who wins, and I'm not going to tell you who wins because I'd rather leave it. I don't like doing predictions. I hate them. I used to do predictions for years, and I found something. It spoiled the fun for me. You guys want to know my thoughts on it. Very rarely I give predictions because it spoils it for me. I don't want to imagine what they're going to do. I want to see what they do. Sometimes I will say it, and I'm not going to tell you who's going to win between PCO and AJ Francis, but I can tell you, I'm hoping that the International Heavyweight Champion will be a legitimate thing in TNA. Let's move on. Xia Brookside won. Spitfire beat up on Marsha Slamovich, and now they're setting up for the kickoff. There you go. Next, we get, let me give you like this. After Trent got beat up, we knew that Speedball Mike Bailey is going to do something. Mr. Speed is going to do something. And it's not the other one. I said Mr. Speed, so stop it. But when it comes down to it, seeing that he tried to jump a Mustafa Ali while he was in his car. And then, and this is probably not done now, it was weeks ago because, well, as you already know, there has been an assassination attempt on the former president. You were sure that attack that Speedball Mike Bailey did was a couple of weeks ago. Not last week. Weeks ago they did that recording. So no one knew this was going to happen. They didn't try to take advantage of it just in case anyone thought that, oh, Donald Trump got attacked. Let's do this. No, this was done weeks ahead of time. You know this. But I had to say this just in case someone brings it up. But seeing Speedball Mike Bailey go into the ring, says he wants a little piece, but can't get it. Because what do we get from Mustafa Ali? He said, you want me? I'll come out there and I'll even do the match with you. But you have to go for the SS Gauntlet, which the Secret Service Gauntlet. 4 guys came out. 4 guys got their butt kicked. At least until Campaign Singh comes out, gets his butt kicked. And then we get 2 riot guards with nightsticks come out, go around the ring. One of them is Mr. Ali. Whacks him in the head. He demands the ref to count. All said and done, goes to the back and says in a pretty good promo that there's no one better than me, there's no one better than us, and we are always going to be champion, at least until Santino Marella comes out and says that was not an official match, it was not sanctioned. So this is what's going to happen. You're having that match at Slammiversary. If you do not do it, I will strip you of the title and you will be fired. Good. That's more than what we normally get, like when it came to a Drew McIntyre, who basically destroyed everything, including the refs. There you go. He should have been fired. But you know they don't want to do that because of what they're setting up for SummerSlam. So I will say that he being threatened to be fired actually makes sense. I actually like it here. Excuse me. Next match, which, let's make this clear. This was not going to be a match. When you look at Jeff Hardy, I'm sorry. If you thought he was going to have a match and he was going to win, he wasn't going to win. This isn't about Jeff not deserving a championship with Matt. This is about Jeff having multiple DUIs and has been found guilty of driving while intoxicated. And to a certain point, he has been barred from ever driving a car again. And 2 years ago, almost 2.5, I think about 1.5 to 2 years ago, he went driving when he was not supposed to. He got his ass in really big trouble, went back to rehab, cleaned himself up. But the point is, he is not allowed to leave the country. He just can't because of all those DUIs and being ordered never to drive again. He did that. So that beatdown he got and the neck destruction by the system, I'm not surprised happened. It had to happen. It did happen. The match was ended because they just can't do anything with Jeff. He can't leave the country, so he cannot go to Canada. It had to be done. Doesn't mean he's out permanently. He's just going to have to wait until they come back to America and they can go back to what they want to do. And if they give Matt and Jeff the title, I would not have a problem with it. Now, right after the destruction of Jeff, we got Santana and the JDC. Mr. Dango himself. And let me give it to you like this. The DQing of that match, was it good? Wasn't bad. Was not bad at all. Because you just want to make sure that Santana is a badass and they want to do something with him more than what you normally see. I got no problem with that. I'm glad they're doing something with Santana. I'm glad that he's being built to be something. Now, how long it's going to take them? I don't know. The way they book in TNA is very difficult to gauge. Because sometimes they tend to rush so quickly because they don't book 4, 5, or 6 months out for all their talent. Understand, TNA may book maybe one person more than 4, 5, or 6 months out. Everyone else gets maybe a month if they're lucky. 2 if they're really lucky. Counting if they stay in the company longer than 6 months, maybe near a year. They like to book in small chunks. And in many cases, those small chunks is how much TV time they're going to get. Because a lot of times we don't see them again for months on end. Because either they don't have a contract and they're just doing it for a certain amount of paycheck. Because they will get paid for any appearance they got on the show. Or they tend to rush and ruin it. And sometimes they get it right. So Santana looks like they are building him correctly. But the question is if it's going to be rushed or not. Now, let's go through a few things. They didn't follow up. I want to say this now because of the match between Dango and Santana. Supposedly, Reby got attacked by JDC. And Matt went to her after Jeff was being taken to the ambulance. The question is going to be how they're going to make anything out of that next week. Then we have Jordynne Grace. Fine, okay interview. Taking what she's already gone through, setting up for the match between Ash of Elegance. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Do I want to see the match between her and Ash? No. Now, do I hate Ash? No. But what I hoped for was someone other than an NXT star to actually go up against Jordynne on Slammiversary and let her get over that way. I was hoping for a Natalya. Even a Michin would have been fine. Someone. Hell, Shayna Baszler. Someone that would go over to Slammiversary and do the job that is pretty well established on the main roster, who's gone through NXT multiple times, like a Shayna Baszler's gone back and forth from NXT, or a Natalya gone back and forth. There wouldn't have been a problem, even Michin for that matter. I think that would have been nice, but we get Ash. Now, mind you, I'm not against Ash. She is doing her part well. But in this situation, where they're supposed to be doing something in a crossover, and you would think that crossover where pretty much Roxanne Perez got something out of it, and she won't get it over here, feels very disingenuous. And I know someone's going to say, they don't have that many stars in NXT. Bull fucking shit. Bullshit. If Natalya has been on the NXT roster multiple times, Shayna Baszler's has been on the roster multiple times, Zoe Stark could come back and do the damn job for her. I just believe there could be more to it. Now, mind you, I will say this, we don't know how long that match will be, and maybe someone will appear. Maybe Natalya will appear. Maybe Shayna Baszler will appear because she's going to eat right through a Ash of Elegance unless they want her to drop the title to her. We don't know. But this is what it looks like, and I do not agree with it. But I will say the video interview was fine. Now, what do I believe of Rosemary with Iceman? What? What are they doing with Rosemary? She's messing with Iceman as he's on the phone. She's going, What When was the demon assassin who we saw months ago pull a knife out like this? Hang on. Who went like this? Scissors. She did that. We haven't seen her do nothing else other than show up on and off. She pulled the knife out like this and legitimately has done nothing. What? Do you understand now what I was saying about booking when it comes to TNA Creative? What are they doing with Rosemary? It's not like Rosemary's showing up on NXT. That actually would make some sense why she's acting like that and would deal with Tatum Paxley. But Tatum Paxley is now dealing with Wendy Chu. She's dealing with Wendy Chu right now. So she's not dealing with Rosemary unless all three of them are going to work together, which that could happen. But if it doesn't, that's a waste of time for Rosemary. Now, let's get to the final thing I'm going to talk about. If I'm forgetting anything, fine. I'm leaving it because I want to see it develop. Not just because maybe I might have forgotten it. This time I haven't. I'm leaving anything else I haven't talked about. I'm leaving it until after the Slammiversary that's going into the next show. So we got the contract signing. All about Joe. Let's make this clear. This was all about Joe. There was almost no talking at all in this situation. We had everybody there that's going to be for the elimination match. Everybody's there. Except for Nick. Except for Nick. Nick did do a video. He said that he tore his legrum. Because of his own actions. He hasn't gotten injured in 19 years, but he has a torn legrum. But it doesn't mean that he cannot wrestle. He will be at Slammiversary. Good. Now, if I remember correctly, a torn legrum, it can heal with rehab. At least to a certain extent. Unless it tears too much and then you're going to have the surgery. But he will be there. He'll probably still be able to function. But with a torn legrum in his shoulder, it's not going to be fun. But let's make this very clear. Seeing AJ Francis come out, doing his bit, making it very clear that you guys may open the show. And I think they may open with that, supposedly. But he made it very clear that he is AJ Francis. He will be closing the show. He will be closing against the Frankenstein of Canada PCO. Okay, there's nothing wrong with it. I didn't have a problem with it. And I say this again. If you have the International Heavyweight Championship, please, the powers of TNA, make that a legitimate title for TNA. Who cares? There's an International Championship in AEW and now in TNA. They got a legitimate title that goes back to 1936. That was around almost the same time as one of my parents' birth. My birth father was born in 34 or 35? So seeing that, there's no problem with it. Make it a legitimate title. Don't just give it a PCO and then it disappears. That would be bullshit. If they bought the title legitimately from somebody in Canada and there's no company using it, use the fucking thing. Please. Sorry for cursing, but you get my point. If TNA does not take advantage of a legitimate title and has a lineage going back nearly 80 to 90 years, you're stupid. Now, PCO did come out, destroy Swan, destroy Francis. They have a fight, and the person that looked the most dominant is Joe Henry. He's the most over. This is all about Joe. Now, I'm not going to tell you if he's going to win the title or not. This is not about that. But I want to say this. Right now, we still don't know how far this is going to go with TNA in TKO WWE. We don't. No matter how much people are loving what's going on, you have to see what we got in front of us. I'm glad to see there is a collaboration. But how much is the lion's share going to who? This is TNA. This is TKO WWE. No matter how much you want to say, well, they don't have much rights. That's bull fucking shit. They can say something. They need to do more for TNA. I'm not telling you to let them bend their asses over and TNA ram them up something. No. But if you are in a real collaboration, you have been sending legitimately the most lowest ranked talent you got on NXT. Charlie Dempsey, Heights, Bourne, Tatum Paxley, Izzy Dane. What do you actually have here? They are the lowest tier wrestlers that NXT has. I know because I still review NXT. I've been reviewing it since it went from 2.0, not 2.0. You see, when I get angry, I botch. From 2.0 to 2.5 and now 3.0. Because now, without Vince there, it is now 3.0 and you see Shawn Michaels really can book it the way he really wants. So I've seen all iterations of 2, 2.5, and 3. And I'm telling you now, every person they sent to TNA has been the lowest positioned wrestler they have. Do not tell me that they don't have that many people there. Of course they do. They got D'Angelo De Niro. Well, not D'Angelo De Niro. No. You see, I'm getting angry. They got people. They could send Trick. They can send Tony D. They can send Briggs. They can send... You can easily send a lot of women who has a position now. You can send Kiana James. You can send Roxanne Perez onto the other side. She can just wrestle other people. She does not have to put her title on the line. She can wrestle Jordynne Grace for the TNA title, just like Jordynne Grace wrestled for You see, I'm getting angry here. I know they won't do that. This has all been TNA sending their top stars, their established stars, and NXT sending the most lowest tier people they got. The lowest. Unless we get somebody big on Slammiversary that comes from NXT, this collaboration has been very one-sided. Again, TNA gains nothing if they keep sending the lowest tier... Stay calm. I'm getting so... When I get mad, I botch so bad. I'm looking at this from the perspective of what TNA will gain in the future. It doesn't make a difference if Slammiversary has 4,000 seats for its arena. What do we get overall for TNA? The same people doing the same thing? TNA getting the most lowest tier talent from the company that wants to do collaborations and is using all your best tier talent? The only one that's left to go will be Moose. Jordan's gone over there. If they send Moose over to NXT to face Trick Williams, I give my word on my life. That shows you that this is one-sided and that nothing will come out of it except for all that talent that gets shown over in NXT will get more opportunity. And TNA gains nothing. Unless they're being paid by TKO WWE and being told, we are going to send the smallest people and you're going to get paid. You send us your best people. And if they say, we really want a more fair, we're going to send the smallest people. You're going to send us the best and we're paying you. Take it or leave it. Okay, we'll take it. That means TNA sold out, which I wouldn't be surprised because there's no Scott D'Amore. I am hoping I'm wrong. I am telling you right now, if Trick Williams ends up on TNA and tries to go after the TNA Heavyweight Championship, I will be ecstatic. I will be happy because it shows they're willing to show what few members of talent that have some credibility go over to TNA, I wouldn't have a problem with. But if they keep showing the lowest tier fruit, Charlie Dempsey is the lowest they got. Everybody else, it's the lowest they got. If they're not willing to send a mid-tier or someone that is their upper tier from NXT, this is one-sided, and I will keep saying it's one-sided. I don't care if you like it or not. You say, oh, this is great. I'll say, it's garbage. If this ends up that Trick doesn't ever show up, if Natalya doesn't show up, if Shayna Baszler doesn't show up, if someone who's been on NXT never shows up there, that has some recognition, doesn't make a difference. They don't have to be on the main roster anymore. If you don't see like a Baron Corbin or even an Apollo Crews that shows on NXT, it's always the most lowest tier people they got. I promise you, I don't care what you say in the comments, I'm going to say this is trash. I'm going to say it. It's not the match quality or the wrestlers themselves. It's not their fault. It's TNA's fault for wanting this type of deal. Peace.